Hi everybody, sorry it's been a long time since I posted anything, but it's just life basically gets in the way. I've had some car troubles which I've been working through, and I got the frame back a couple of days ago basically. If you remember on here, this was all rotted out, so it's been repaired. I've got a new choke that I put on and basically put the toolbox in, which is new. I don't know if I'm actually on that, but you can see where the fixings are. There's one either side here and one on the top, and you've got the rubber. Long story short, I bought a new rubber, and it basically was the wrong one. I won't mention any company, but they should know better. These were already powder coated, if you remember. You know, toolbox and petrol tank. I've had the frame done satin black. That's not going to be the colour of the scooter, that's just the colour of the frame, the forks and the wheels, stand. Basically anything that comes into contact with water is going to be powder coated satin black. I think it looks quite nice. I took off these bearing races. They just basically knock off, and it's held in line with a little screw there, and that one just knocks back in again. And to be honest with you, they're the easiest ones I've ever done on a scooter. They're normally a right sod to get. There's not a lot really to update. I've put a seat on that I bought, and I had this rear carrier, and to be honest with you, it's taken me best part of, I'd say, about 4 or 5 hours to actually get it to fit. I've never put it on a scooter. I bought it years ago, and it's basically the hooks have been done. That's all original, new screws. They're the bolts that hold the backlight in, which is off. That's going to be satin black as well. In this bag here, get rid of that rag I should say. There's my components to make up my wiring loom. Thanks Paul at Scooter Restorations for supplying that. We will be going through that because I haven't got the wheels back yet. I haven't really had time with work, etc., other commitments. You know, life gets in the way. This is not my source of income, if you like. It's just a hobby. So there's no engine in it at the moment. As you know from previous videos, we've built the engine. When I get a wheel back and put a tyre on it and the stand, because normally when I build these scooters, the stand is the first thing that goes on, whether it's a Vespa or a Lambretta. I don't care, I put the stand on, then you can prop up the back of the frame. You can prop that up and the engine can go in, then the forks can go in, or you can put the forks in first if you want, then the back end of the scooter comes up. You've got to be careful with Vespas, because the engine being on one side, they can topple over if you're not careful, if you haven't got forks in. Not happened to me, but I've seen it a few times, and to be honest with you, I've caught them a few times when they're going. So what I tend to do is support just under where the kickstart is on a Vespa. Never had a Lambretta topple over or whatever, but I don't really know why, because half the engine hanging over like it is on a Vespa anyway, although it's in a bit further into the centre, but it still hangs over. I've got air scoop going on, that's away. Toolbox lid, like I say, I haven't got a lot back yet. I've got the because my welder basically gave up, so I had to trust this welding to a friend, and fine now. I just couldn't get it with the cold weather we had over January, February. I sort of gave up, put it on a back burner. What else was there? The leg shields needed welding. We've got a couple of splits and holes in them, so they've come back welded. Unfortunately, the guy powder coated them, so I don't know whether I'm going to have to strip them all off and paint them, because I'll be doing the paint on this bike myself. Other than that, there's not much really to report on. I've been buying bits and bobs as they come up. Like I say, the rear mudguard's gone off, white. all the interior will be white like it should be on not on an Li125, because this was blue. It should all be blue, but one of the previous owners, excuse me, had these powder coated. It was a bit of a mixture, to be honest, of some powder coating, some painted. I'm quite happy with the frame. It's nice and straight. As you can see, the outriggers, no welding on them. Really happy. What I noticed as well, I wasn't actually 100% sure, because I'd normally build a 200 into a 200. I don't mess around, but the short silent blocks that you get on an Li small block, they've got a different cone in them. The 200 cone comes out slightly more. I will show that on a video. I've got new ones in that box basically under there. I'm trying to keep everything together. I've got a nice new spray gun, so hopefully it should come together and make a nice scooter for somebody. I'll run it around for a little while, get it insured, run it around, make sure there's nothing wrong with it, and then, you know, somebody else can have it and have the joy with it. And because it's going to be, you know, it's been powder coated, it should last. It should see us lot out, is what I'm trying to say. The rest of it's going to be painted, so all the bodywork's painted. I discovered that there was a tiny split, which is normal on old Lambrettas, where the kickstart goes around. That's being welded. Like I say, my welder at the moment just seems to don't want to know, won't weld properly. I must have had about 5 or 6 attempts to weld that on, and it just would not take. But you know, we're there now, and I'm quite happy with it. We'll go through the electronic, the mounting bracket that's going to go up under here. I'm actually making one myself instead of buying one off the shelf, because they do run quite hot. I'm putting a bit of a thicker aluminium on it and screws through these holes, so it will screw. It'll be the same as what you can buy off the shelf, just a bit more sturdy. As you know, I've got all these electronic bits anyway. I've decided I'm going to buy a new SIP speedo for the scooter. The one that came with it's missing a few bits, and by the time I've bought them, you know, it's not worth it. Basically, it'll be more expensive to start buying bits and bobs. And I was going to put a SIP fast flow fuel tank on the petrol tank, but all it says is low fuel, or it doesn't light up basically. And I put it on my Series 2, and I think it's just a waste of time. You just might as well fit a standard, you know, standard tap fast flow one, of course, but so it goes into reserve stops, and you know, you got, you know, whatever it is left, to cut 50 or 60 miles or 40 miles to get yourself to a petrol station. Always worked with me with Vespas and Lambrettas, so who am I to change? There's a few little scratches that were on, you know, all of this stuff was basically out of the scooter and given to me in bits, and I will touch up a few bits, and where I've like started to polish there, it's starting to shape up. But I'm just giving people an update basically. But when we get the stand back, I'll do proper videos on it. And as you can probably guess, I've built a new shed while we had some downtime just to build this scooter in. And to be honest with you, I'm going to paint the bits and bobs in there as well, the leg shields, runners, panels, handlebars. I've still got a mod there, handlebars, to take the hydraulic hose, but I'll do that when I get the forks back, because I can build the forks up and do a video on that. Not really much more to say at the moment. You know, there's all the bits as I come and find them, I've just been sticking on. And like I say, this took me 4 odd hours to put the seat on so that it's solid, lining up the brackets, etc. It's different for everybody's scooter basically. This isn't the seat that came with the scooter, that's one that I bought. Like I say, I've had this carrier and I thought it was a good opportunity. You know, I do like to have a spare wheel. It's a safety, get you home thing, you know, and scooters are quite good at, you know, like cars are, you can have a spare wheel, get you home if you get a puncture. So it was either fit that or buy an inside leg shield one, and as I've already got that, it's, you know, it's 2 jobs in one basically, a solution. And like I say, when the wheel comes back, or all the wheels, I'm having 4 done, and I bought 2 new, and I've got 2 original Li125 ones that came with this, so we should have a good set of wheels to go on the scooter. I think I've shown the engine. That's ready to rock and roll basically. So once it's in, I'm not going to hold back. I will put some petrol in it as soon as the engine's in, and we'll kickstart it and see, you know, how it runs. I've not had a Scootopia Clubman before, so we'll have a look, see what that sounds like, if it's any good. And I'm sort of leaning to getting a 22mm Scootopia. The carburetor that I got with it, I'm not 100% sure whether the choke thread on it's good or not. It's got a very short choke. I'll show it when I come to doing the carburetor, and all I've got is Italian carbs, and I don't really want to start putting Italian bits on a, you know, a Spaco basically. So I'm going to leave it there. I will, you know, as we're going forward now, I'm going to try and get to Coventry VMSC show on Sunday, so if I can do that, I'll run up a video on that. You never know what you can buy when you turn up at these shows. I've been to the parts fair, the Mammoth Parts Fair, but because I was shopping and not, you know, it wasn't for pleasure this time, I didn't bother to video it. And I got a lift that time because my car was playing up, so, you know, there's only so much you can do. So once again, thanks for sticking with me, and anybody who's subscribing, I do appreciate it. Hopefully we can start moving on and doing some decent videos, and who knows, I might get a bit more professional, you never know. Probably not, but like I say, thanks everyone for sticking. I'll go through what I did with these. I've got, if you can have a look there, I've got stainless steel straps. I didn't get straps with the tank. That's what I'm saying, when you buy a scooter in bits, there's so many bits missing. You know, I've got 1 strap with it. What use is 1 strap? And the only spare straps I've got are Indian again, and it's an Italian bike, so I'm trying to keep as much Indian stuff off of it as I can. Casa new rear mud flap went on. I don't normally put any of this stuff on until the engine's in, but, you know, with the seat and all this sort of stuff, it's better with all the equipment out of the way. Like I say, stand first, seat on. If you're putting accessories on, put them on, badges, anything really you can do, wiring, cables, anything like that. They're all easy to do once it's on its stand, because then it'll be off this Black & Decker workmate, workbench or whatever. But hope everyone's still hanging in there and everyone's healthy. Like I say, keep sticking with me, and we will sort it out. Thanks for watching everybody. Take care. See you on the next one. Bye.